I would sit and look at couples, and the thought occurred to me, I wonder if that's a first, like an original marriage, or is that a second marriage? And some of the telltale signs, you could tell, oh, she's a second wife, he's a second husband. There was just a different chemistry.
How can you tell? You're guessing.
Totally guessing.
Okay.
But it made me think, like, what if in this moment right now, I just started acting like a second wife? So good. It's a shift because when you think of a first wife, I was thinking of first wife, husband spontaneous and says, hey, kids are, they're at home, we're empty nesters. Let's fly to Vegas for the weekend. First wife might be like, oh no, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, got to clean the house, had to mop the floors. Second wife's like, baby, I'm packing a suitcase, I'm putting the lingerie as we go. How soon can we fly out of here? And I think that's part of the excitement, of that new relationship, is just that spontaneity. So it occurred to me that, you know what, I'm gonna think more like a second wife kind of action, and really get into that mindset of being playful and spontaneous and just a little different than I've been over the past, 25, 26 years. Like, why not? Yeah.
Real women, real lives, real stories. This is the Ladies in Power podcast. Unfiltered, unscripted, and refreshingly authentic. We're not holding back, and maybe after this, neither will you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ladies in Power podcast. My name is Mika Casey.
I'm Sandeep Patha.
Dr. Soraya.
Gurinder Dal.
And we are Ladies in Power just like you. Maybe you are washing the dishes. Maybe you're driving. Maybe you're cooking. Maybe you're just sitting on the couch with a nice cup of tea or a glass of bubbly or a glass of wine. Whatever you're doing, we hope that you enjoy this as much as we enjoy talking about things with you. And today we are talking about something rather spicy. Is loyalty in a relationship possible? Who initiates if things go sideways? What do we do about it? Is a relationship where two parties are loyal to each other the entire marriage or relationship, is that possible? What do we do to contribute to maybe screwing it up or making it magical? Because we all play a role. And I know that Dr. Soraya here has some very juicy thoughts on this topic. So come on, girl.
We were discussing this before we actually got on the camera. And one of the things that I said was, when I was younger, I always thought if I get married and my husband cheats on me, that's it. When we were talking about marriage, I said that's the deal breaker. We marry for always, and how you feel about other women becomes secondary to how you feel about me. That's my breaking point. And as I'm getting older, I think I'm really changing my view on that. I'm changing my view that it's not so black and white. My feelings are women are more loyal. I know you guys are not going to agree with it. I feel for a woman to walk out of a marriage, it takes a lot because they put in a lot. It's their emotional. It's if they have children involved, it's financial. And a woman, as much as she thinks with her heart, she also thinks about security and about her well-being and the house she's made. And if we go back to gathering, what have we gathered? What have we built together? And most of us married younger and married men that didn't have a lot to begin with. We built whatever we've built together. And if your husband cheats, that means that half of what you built together is now being split with someone else who had no part in your growth, who had no part in the growing pains that you went through. So for a woman to walk away, it doesn't just become, well, he cheated, he walks, I'm going to walk away. All these thoughts come into it, and it will be a very different decision than when you were much younger. And also, I feel with women. Like Miko was saying, it's a shame of having to face your friends. You know, maybe I'm not good enough. Why did he do this to me? Maybe he was, you know, maybe I'm not young enough, attractive enough. I always say if people can cheat on Angelina Jolie and Halle Berry, they can cheat on you. And I'm not making this about be scared, watch your husbands all the time. I'm making this about just be aware of who's hanging around your husband. Who are you leaving him alone with? Are you taking long holidays and letting him be by himself somewhere without checking in? I think we have a responsibility of looking after our husbands like we would look after our cars, our assets, our houses. You know, you don't leave your car with the key in with a sign, come and take me. Somebody eventually will. So don't leave your car out there with a key and say, here I am, take me. You know, maybe take your key with you on the vacation, check up on him, and make sure you've got eyes on him. That's my 2 bits.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the women that aren't married? Because you spoke to it's harder for a married woman to leave, to cheat because of that. So we skipped over whether loyalty is possible. We went right to they cheat, which is fine because we're gonna
Isn't that loyalty?
we're gonna go on. My question is for you, what about women that aren't married?
They should keep their hands off of married men. Honestly, like there
Amen.
should be
Oh
a
my
code
gosh.
amongst us. If
Yes.
there is one man that's
There must be a
married,
code.
guys, walk away.
Yes.
And what baffles my mind is
Yes.
women who cheat with their best friend's husband.
Oh my God.
Like, is there a shortage of men that of all the men in the world, you had to find one, a married man, and second, a married man who is married to your best friend or your sister's husband or all these stories that you hear out there. Like, why can't women respect the code of keeping their hands to themselves? So yes, in each party, there's two, it takes two to tango. But I'm saying if that woman doesn't approach your guy, if doesn't give him the green light or whatever, maybe he would be less likely to go after her. So you've been awfully quiet, Sandeep. What's going on in your brain?
Ask me a question because that'll help me put my thoughts together. There's so much to unpack in this conversation.
Do you trust your husband 100% or do you put safeguards in place to make sure that your marriage is harmonious?
Wow,
Whoa.
that helps.
Yeah.
That helps. Okay, so do I put safeguards in place? I first of all want to start from the idea that I operate not out of fear.
Okay, very good.
Because that is the starting point
Very
for
good.
me. And if I say to myself, are you operating out of fear or faith and love? Faith and love is not going to have me put safeguards of the kind where you're checking his phone or his location. None of that appeals to me. I do not want to live my life wondering, worrying, living in fear about that. And I am married to a very good-looking man.
Yes,
a very
she
wonderfully
is.
lovely man.
Yes, she is.
And if I was going to live my life that way, I don't call that living. So I refuse to put fear-led safeguards in place. Now, I can talk about the type of safeguards I do put in place, which is I make sure I see him. I make sure I connect with him. I make sure he knows how much he's appreciated. I make sure he knows how good looking I think he is. Like, even though we've been together this long, I still want to make sure he hears that out of my mouth. So those are safeguards, because if he doesn't receive that from me, then maybe he might go somewhere else or he might crave that somewhere else. But it's a type of safeguard, but not coming out of fear. So I'll begin with that. What else did you ask me?
And are you, like, would you ever forgive him if it should ever happen that he's straight?
That's a new question.
That's okay. That's
a new question.
So,
Oh boy.
a young version of me had also a very black and white thought about this, that nope, it's a deal breaker. It would be done. No chance. Current version of me recognizes that life is not black and white. And I think until I'm faced with that circumstance, I couldn't say for sure. because I'd have to sit and think about what led to that
Yeah.
breach in trust.
Mm-hmm.
And what role did I have in that?
Mm-hmm.
What responsibility did I play? I mean, we can say cheating because it's just such an obvious act, but there's also the other part of the neglect
Yes.
and bitterness and resentment that can drive people apart.
Yes.
So I wouldn't necessarily say it's black and white for me anymore. I would be highly disturbed, disappointed. My trust would be broken. And as we all know, it takes a long time to build trust,
Yeah.
but it takes a second to destroy it.
Yeah.
And once it's destroyed, I don't know that you ever get it back to that intactness that it was before that, breach happened. So it's a really difficult question to answer until you're in that circumstance. And I would really hope that I would have the self-awareness to guide myself through it. And I think anything's possible. Like forgiveness is possible, compassion is possible, love is possible, repair is possible, and rebuilding of trust is possible. Yeah. But I think about the women and men who have been through something like that, and it's a very difficult situation to come out of. And I know people in my life that have dealt with that, have struggled with that, and they weren't able to come out of it with compassion and forgiveness and love. And I hold no judgment for that because that
Yes.
was their situation, But it's really, really personal, I think. Yeah.
Some cultures, we talked about that, guys. Like you had the kings of India that had their harems. And you have the Chinese, and anybody watched To Raise a Red Lantern was addressing that, how the male in Japan or China in the olden ages had one queen and many concubines. And one time my son said something really interesting to me. He said, Mom, we were talking about basketball, and he goes, he'd read that a basketball player had cheated on his wife. And he goes, well, what do they expect? They have picked an alpha man. And when you pick an alpha man, there is 1,000 women wanting that prototype. They want the tall, the good looking, the strong, the fortunate, and the moneymaker. And these women cannot expect this man to just stay for her. And I went, what an unusual way of looking at it from maybe a young man's perspective. And are women okay with something like that? Are we okay by saying, look, as long as you come home and I'm your number one and I'm your queen, you can wander once in a while and do something over there where I don't see it, or I see it, or I don't acknowledge it. But realizing that maybe an alpha man to that degree, whether it be a king, somebody who's extremely powerful, like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, or how many kids does the guy with the car have? Tesla. Elon Musk. Like he must have
favorite.
500 kids lying around.
10. He has 10 children.
That we know of. Anyways, how much are we being realistic, thinking holding on to a very powerful man we would be the only person, and would we give them freedom?
We teach people how to treat us.
Okay, that's good.
We set our standards.
And is that okay then?
And if Elon Musk has chosen women that know they're not going to be the only woman and that they're going to play a part in creating a child with the most brilliant man in the history of the universe, then good for them. Who are we to judge that?
No, I'm not judging that. I'm saying, is that okay to think that way? And
Yeah, absolutely. I think if there's an agreement made between the parties beforehand, then that's their life to live. It's like a couple that decides to have 1 kid, 3 kids, 10 kids, no kids. That's a decision. Are we going to create a business together, or are we going to have 2 businesses together because we believe if we work together all day long, that's going to ruin the spark? Everyone has beliefs about marriage and intimacy based on our upbringing, social media, the news, movies. So when you were sharing about if somebody had, heaven forbid, cheated, we see in the movies that it's oh, it's okay, everything will be fine, or we see the hell no, never again. We get to decide which movie we're going to play.
Yeah.
Which actress we're going to be in our own movie. And I've seen relationships that are completely destroyed over it. And I've seen relationships that are closer than ever because they had the opportunity, or they took the opportunity. They didn't have, everyone has the opportunity. They took the opportunity to get real, raw, honest about the conversation. Okay, what role did I play? Like you were talking about, what role did I play in this? What was missing? What can I do? Who do I need to be to meet the needs? Who do you need to be to meet my needs? And where can we agree if those needs are not being met, that we go outsource them? For example, that's what girlfriends are for. Like, I bore my husband to tears with some of the conversations that I want to have. And God bless him. He sits there so patiently listening. And I realized that it's not fun for him. And yet if I call you, or I call you, or I call you, or one of my girlfriends, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, really? And then what happened? Oh, no way. Oh my, can you imagine? We need to get together, girl, and have like a deeper conversation about this. So there's a role that our girlfriends play. And same for the guys. There's a role that the men play in each other's lives. And I think men what I've witnessed is have a more difficult time building male friendships where they have that outlet to feel heard, they do nourish each other. They do validate each other. They do say, this is normal. This isn't normal. Oh, okay, so we see in the movies that this couple's having sex twice a day, every day for the last 15 years. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. We're doing it like once a month. And that's if I take her out for dinner or whatever. Like, guys get to have those conversations to validate each other of what is real versus what the movies say. So they're not out comparing themselves to what they think should be happening and then look down on themselves or their wives. Or there's so many elements at play. And when we have that communication, if we're willing to have that communication, I don't want to have the conversation with my husband like, have you thought about somebody else? You're a sexy, hot construction worker in the homes of damsels in distress who need their paintings hung, and their husband's promised to do something for 6 months and it still hasn't done. And you come along with your beautiful body and your beautiful smile and I'll fix it for you. I mean, come on. I have to keep that communication open and understand what he needs so that someone else doesn't come along and give it to him.
I don't think cheating happens overnight, guys. I agree with Sandeep. I don't even know how to put a tracker on my husband, even if I try. I am not that savvy. I have never picked up his phone and checked it. I'm just saying little things that's intuition that doesn't sit right with you, listen to it.
Yes.
Okay?
It's true.
When we were really young, I'm telling you this story. It's a true story. It's my own life. My husband and we got married and we were separated. He lived in Victoria. I lived in Vancouver. He was a young doctor, good looking, just surrounded by CDAs that were equally young and good looking. Certified dental assistant. So he's a dentist in the army with his uniform, looking super cute. And we've got all these supremely cute women with their bob hairs, sucking the suction and sitting this close to him and seeing him all day long where I'm in Vancouver, right? So one weekend I went to visit him and he had this crappy old car. And I always know where I sit. I know my position. I know how far back the seats. So I sit in the car and I'm like way back here. And I go, who's been sitting in this car? And he goes, no one. I go, don't bloody lie to me. I know somebody has been sitting in this car. Who? Anyways, it turned out to be one of his assistants that he gave a ride to after work. Tall woman, obviously, because the seat was way the hell back there. And right there and there, you nib it in the butt. Okay? You have a conversation and it's about, why are you even giving women rides? It's not your job. They can call it taxi. We're separated 5 days a week. What can I do so that this doesn't happen again? And it was just a simple thing to notice. It could be a perfume in someone's coat. It could be the way that he's not paying attention like he used to. It could be a lot of things. I'm just saying, don't say to yourself, I trust my husband. That's it. Being closely working with someone else really does make a difference, matter. Make yourself seen. Go to his work once in a while. Buy muffin for his coworkers. Make friends with the people that are in his job. Make friends with your office manager so that if something should start to not be right, let another woman warn you. I'm not saying put trackers on the man or put something under his car so his GPS is being hacked. I'm just saying be mindful of where your husband is or hanging out with, because let's face it, as we get older together, that I'm not saying the spark vanishes, but it takes a different look. And I find men our age start looking to feel young again, to feel they're important again, to feel they're a provider again. And there is not a shortage of women out there that gives them that feeling. Now, if we're lucky, they go out there and buy a red Ferrari and that's the end of it. But if we're not lucky, I am hearing a lot during my community and my friends that they look outside, not necessarily to a younger or a better looking women, just different.
Yes.
Just different. So as you can see, my hair is different every time we talk. You
Gorgeous.
I create that illusion of, hey, there is a different wife for you, the same different. Just, I don't know, something. How are your thoughts on this?
Good.
Yeah,
Completely agree with all of you guys. Marriage is work, and I think it's his job and my job to keep it interesting. We do date nights all the time without children. Like, we don't have children with us for our date nights. And the kids always, the kids want to come, but it's so much work. Marriage is more work than I thought it would be, because and it's different at each stage. I mean, when we had babies, it was different. And then we had toddlers, it was different. And school-age kids, our relationship keeps changing, but we have to put the work in, is what I've learned. We have to keep putting the work in. And bringing the kids to the office.
I like that.
Take the kids to the office. Make him feel like he's just not a doctor. And look, the kids get so excited when they go to the office, and he loves seeing them. Everyone.
That's actually smart.
This is a juicy topic. I mean, oh my gosh, I am learning. That is really
that
good.
A strategy, or just something that's a byproduct of you
I think
being close to the office? Or
I think sometimes people don't realize that these doctors have families. And they expect him to be at work early and then late and deal with clinical or whatever issues all the time. And then I think when I bring the kids in, or I go in myself, it's to show he's human. Like, he not only does he do all of this and has a great business, is a great practitioner, but he's also a husband and a dad to 4 girls.
So for the woman out there that's listening and says, oh, that's all great and everything, I don't buy it. Men cheat. They're scum. I've never had anybody be loyal. Doesn't matter how much I cook or clean or make him the hero. And still he, had an affair. I used to bring my, I did everything that I was supposed to do. And what would you say to them?
I would say exactly what Gurvinder said. People think you marry and then it's off to the sunset with the white horse that never farts forever. And that is just not the case. That it is work, it is upside. it's up and down. Some days you're really in love and you look at each other and you really appreciate each other. And sometimes my husband says, you want to kill me, don't you? I guess it's just the way I'm looking at him. And I go, yeah, the only thing stopping me is that you don't have a life insurance. Depending on what he did or what he said, that it's not always going to be rosy. But I think if it's 80%, giving him the time, the attention, the appreciation. And like Tony Robbins said, when people say, I gave her everything, he says, rubbish. If you had given her everything, she would still be with you. Is very true. It's not always going to be that amorous relationship. But I also really like what Sandeep said. I don't think we should go from, oh my God, every moment of the day, where is he? Why isn't he checking in? I should be checking in. Just being aware of what's going in around you.
I've had a shift in my relationship where early on in our marriage, I can admit that I was insecure. Because I was married to a very good-looking man. I had men and women, and they still do, tell me what a great-looking guy he is. He dresses well. He carries himself beautifully. He is very attractive. And I also recognize that I didn't yet have my self-value and self-worth developed. I didn't know it. I didn't recognize it. So I thought I was the one who got the catch, right? So there was that insecurity. As life has gone on, and I've gone on my own discovery and learned about myself and worked on my own self-development, I can say that my inner confidence has really grown. And my sense of self-worth and self-value has really, really, it's just a totally different beast that I am right now. And that has also shown itself in our relationship and how I view that. So when somebody says, yeah, that's all good and, easy, you guys, just saying this and that, I think also there's truth that it can be, that's your idea and you believe that no, all men cheat or women cheat or this is just the way society is. But I can also have my vision, which is it's not necessarily the way, that people can be very loyal, people can be very much in love because maybe that's the choice I decide to live with.
Yes.
And I remember being 10 years old, and this is another one of those strange child facts, but I was 10 years old on my 10th birthday, and I remember thinking, wow, half my single life is over. Like I'll be married by 20. It's just a vision that I had because my mom was married at 20. So I guess I wanted to copycat her. But I also recall thinking, I'm just going to have like the best marriage ever. Like we're going to be friends. We're going to be playful. We're going to be so madly in love all the way through. And I really believe that belief has just carried through in my life. Have we had a perfect marriage? No chance. Have we had our struggles? Definitely. But there's always been that underlying belief and thread that we can get back to a place of playfulness and love and joy in each other's company. But like you said, Gurvinder, it does take work. It takes effort. It takes an intent and desire and a belief that it can work. Yeah. The other thing I want to say is also we have no control over anything in life.
No.
Right? And definitely not the person that we end up with as a partner for our life. So there's this, what I'm learning is that, we have also had a hand in curating our life's challenges and what our soul asked for us to be provided. So perhaps our partner at some point is going to do something that is going to really test our own growth and resolve and who we say we are. And that may be something we signed up for. And that's a hard one to get your head around. But I do think that accepting that you don't have control is not a bad place to start. And then having the faith in yourself that you can move through anything because you value yourself. You asked a question, I think, about, I forget the question. We're having such a juicy conversation. There's so much being said. But I'll come back to it. It'll come to me. And also one more thing. Sorry, I just want to say one more thing. Earlier when I was saying that if a man cheats, I said, the partner can also reflect on what their role in it was. But I didn't want to imply that it means that the woman had a fault in it. It could be that her needs were not being met. So she maybe just pulled away or became disconnected. A man cheating doesn't mean the woman's at fault or has something to fix in herself.
No.
A man cheating can also just be a man cheating, and that's his value system, and that's the way he moves in the world, and the woman could be absolutely divine. So I didn't want to, give anyone that impression that women or the partner that's been cheated on should be the ones to go on that introspective journey. It should be both partners doing that work.
And though I love what you said about the soul pact, because I've said that to us, I've said that to the kids, and what I say is there's a reason why we chose each other. There's a reason why we chose each other, and we also told ourselves before we came into this world that these are the things that I'm going to really push you at, and you may not like me, but these are the things that you have asked me to help you with. So if we do have a disagreement, or if he's not liking what I have to say, I'm like, I'm just here to help your soul grow. Like, I'm here to help your soul grow. And that's why we are having this discussion. This is a massive learning point in our relationship. And I really feel that we come in the world to do that for each other, to really, really help each other rise. I'm like, then what's the point if I just agree with everything that you want me to agree with? I'm going to push you to be better because you push me to be better. Like back in my mid 40s, I was gaining weight and didn't know why. And I finally listened to something he said. He's like, it's about lifting weights. And I hate lifting weights. But because of him, I started lifting weights, and I love it. Love it. Because I looked at him, I'm like, oh my God, he is so physically fit, so handsome. I'm like, oh my God, I need to be at his level.
Yeah.
And so I started working out even harder because I see him and we have all these crazy cool goals that we want to do together, And I think that when we push each other, even if we don't like it, it's important to step back and say, what is it that he's wanting from me or she wanting from me? What can I do? And more of a deep dive conversation.
My husband is my hero.
Aww.
And that is the truth.
And because of that, Mika, because most of you, we've been friends now for a while. We know our husbands are our best friends. And it's kind of, you don't want to lose that relationship. You don't want to lose your best friend. And exactly like what you were saying, Mika, if our best friend makes a mistake, we forgive them. If our children, total our cars, we'll say it's okay, in Farsi, fadai saret, I'm glad it's the car that got totaled, not you. We don't hold it against them. So if your best friend, your partner, your husband should make a mistake, it could be a one-night thing, it could be a 6-month thing, but at the end of it, they come back clean and they say, look, I just needed something, I needed a change, I love this life we built together, I want to come back. When I was younger, I would have said no. And now I'm reevaluating that and saying, I would give that second chance to my kid, to my best friend. Why wouldn't I given it to a life partner who is also my best friend? But I'm still of the opinion that you don't put cotton with fire, sit there and watch it, and then wonder why it got burned. Still, you would have your intuition about you and just kind of make sure, check in with your senses and with him and make sure that everything is okay.
So if your intuition pipes up and it gives you a sense that,
Openly communication.
We were at a party and this woman was very touchy.
Yes.
She was this.
Yes.
What are we saying to do? What are we saying?
I would say don't touch my husband. Don't touch my husband. I would legitimately come in and say, oh, hi, how are you? Yeah, I totally would. Because like you said, don't put cotton next to the fire. And if somebody has, and this is another thing, if a woman is going to do that, what is it saying about me and how I'm showing up or not showing up?
Yes.
Because I have definitely not created an understanding that he is not for sale. Like legitimately, it's on me. I take responsibility for, I haven't made an appearance. I haven't participated in his life enough. She doesn't know about me. She thinks she has a chance. And men, I say this with the utmost respect, are clueless when it comes to women hitting on them.
Yes.
At least my man is. And he's convinced me of such. And so I see it, and then I'll have a conversation, and I would never see anybody touching him. That I would do exactly what I just did. However, I've seen or heard conversations on the phone like, oh, a little little bit of giggling there. You know, what's that about? And for him, it's like, what? Nothing. And he's so deer in headlights. And I'm like, well, that maybe she's flirting with you and she doesn't recognize. And, you know, okay, he wears a wedding ring. Well, for some women, and this is the flip side, okay? Because women are looking for the strong, handsome man, the man that can provide, and not all women, excuse me, women believe that all men are for sale. And not all women, a lot of women believe that all men are for sale. And so it is our responsibility to be involved, to teach people how to treat us, to get back to that. Because if we haven't shown up in any way to make it evident that we are in a beautiful relationship, we're madly in love, not from a jealousy perspective, not from a controlling place, not from a fearful place, from a loving place. If a woman sees a man and a woman in love and has chemistry and has connection between them, they're going to go for a weaker prospect. It's like the man who is walking down the street and looking for a woman to prey on. There's the confident woman that's walking down the street looking around. And then there's the woman staring at her feet and kind of shuffling along, not paying attention. Which woman is the man going to go for as prey? The one that's not paying attention.
Yes.
So be the woman that is involved. Be the woman that is confident and strong, and you know, it's just going to take too much for anything to happen. So the woman's going to go, let me find somebody else. This one is taken.
Yeah.
Joyfully, happily taken. We do play such a role, ladies. We really do.
And if somebody was to come to me, let's say a man came up to me and didn't know that I'm married or in a relationship, I do believe, and I don't just believe, I've done this, I know, it's only a matter of seconds before I'm bringing my husband's name into it.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, my husband does the same thing. That's so funny. Yes. Oh yeah. You know, and I'm speaking about him with lots of joy and laughter and like, oh yeah, my husband, he's so cool like that. So very quickly, if that man has any thoughts, they're gone. Like they're just like, oh, okay. And I think I would say the man also would do that. Like if a woman's, you know, touchy-feely, he can hold himself in a way that kind of hands off or immediately talks about his wife. And the woman should get the picture pretty quick that this guy's there's no portal here for me to make a move.
That's a really good point, actually.
The responsibility on
the man.
That person.
Yes.
Versus feeling like, shoot, why am I at this corner of the party when he's over there and there's 5 women over there? No, I can enjoy watching him and see that he can manage himself.
Yes.
And I know that his eyes are on me because I'm the one that's for him at this moment in time. What tomorrow brings, I cannot guarantee.
He might not recognize, though, that they're hitting on him.
Well, I don't think mine's that naive.
Truly.
I think mine would know.
Mine is lost.
Yeah, I think
mine is too.
Yes, mine is so clueless.
He's like, no. Mine knows,
Yours knows too?
Yours
I think mine would know.
I think in the earlier days, he just had no clue. And I think now he's like, okay.
Yeah.
I think he knows now.
Yeah. We need to.
But I love our husband.
We need to just
like
something different.
We need a seminar for them.
Well,
but I also
actually,
be very careful of also what we're planting in their minds too. Like if I'm telling my husband, oh my God, you're so good. Oh, I'm sure all the women in your office are always flirting. Like we don't need to plant that in their minds. We don't need to
what we need to plant is
don't I look so cute today?
Yes.
Did you see my outfit? Like, plant their eyes and their attention on you, not on all the possibilities that are out there for them to go, oh, I'm sought after. Like I'm somebody that women all over would be, they don't need to hear that from you.
Yes.
let them deal with it if it happens, but we don't need to be planting those ideas in their head.
It's interesting because when I first got married, even though my husband is almost 10 years younger, I had such a confidence because I was at the height of my career. I was still an actress, modeling, singing, and I was a showgirl, for lack of a better word. I was just stunning and sexy and beautiful. And my beauty had been my career for so long. I relied on my beauty to feel confident. And that's a big oops for a lot of women, because when the beauty fades or shifts, it doesn't fade ever. It shifts from one area to another because we all have different areas. It's an eye opener. And then it became, for me, I'll speak for me. Okay, so now there's always been more beautiful women, more sexy women with a better butt or bigger boobs or whatever. I didn't worry about it because I was at the top of my game. However, now I'm not at the top of my physical gain anymore. And there I have stepped up the awareness of the emotional game, of him being the hero, of him being the Prince Charming, of asking for his advice, for asking him for praising him for every little thing. Oh my gosh, honey, you took out the garbage. You beat me to it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, honey, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for that. The appreciation has gone up tenfold for who he is versus who I am. That has completely shifted. It used to be about all the stuff that I was bringing to the relationship, and it's flipped to everything that he's bringing to the relationship. Right or wrong, good or bad, I don't know. It's just something that I've noticed is happening. And it's an awareness for us women to have.
Now, we've always talked about men cheating. Look as I'm getting older, I see more and more younger men hitting on me. I'm not joking.
It's true.
I just came from Toronto, and this guy was all over me. Alex was playing the guitar in his corner, oblivious. And, he's like gentle things like, I'm here if you need anything. Or, I would love to get to know you better once in Vancouver. Why don't you get in touch? And we were talking with Sandeep, just as much as a man can put a stop on it, I would be like, thank you. Usually my husband, who's right over there, is going to help me. Now, whether or not he's conscious of what's going on or not, at our age, a lot of younger men are looking at us and saying, hell yes, they're beautiful women, they're accomplished, we don't have to look after them, they know their thing, and maybe they can look after us.
They've got a house, we can't afford one. We can't afford anything in this government, so we might as well get a sugar mama.
Why not? And I mean, that I've known many friends that have gone that route, and it just came to mind when Mika was sharing 20 years, 30 years younger. I mean, look at Cher. Her boyfriend is 50 years younger than her. Look at Madonna. So just as men are going through that, we are going through that as well. There are opportunities for us. We value ourselves. So I think at the end of the day, it boils down to how committed we are each to each other.
Beautiful.
And what arrangement we have made with each other that is okay. Is it okay for him to wonder once in a while? Is it okay for me to wonder once in a while? Or no, it's going to be just us. We will work it through, and it's just going to be what is it called when it's monogamous? Relationship.
That's a whole other subject about open relationships. I have several girlfriends who are in open relationships, that them and their husbands have multiple partners all together. Like they do foursomes all the time.
Can't do that.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's
Can't
monogamy.
about it.
It's not a judgment.
Monogamy is a social construct, I think. Right? So if something works for a couple or a few couples, I personally have no judgment around that because I do think why won't we let people live their lives?
That's right. And I've never tried it, so who knows?
I know. Because it will never end up well. And like you say, that's a totally new subject.
I agree with you, and I just don't know. I have friends that have been in those relationships for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they can't imagine it like us, like we're on the other side, like, oh my gosh, that could never end well. They're on the other side. They're like, it would never end well with the same person all the time. And so they're in love with each other and they have other activities together. They're always together. However, so it's an interest.
It's like pickleball.
Wow.
We play pickleball.
Wow.
There's two pickles.
Oh, God.
You said it.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, our innocent Sandeep over here. She didn't think about that. Oh, I just beat you to that, didn't I?
Yeah, that was mind-blowing.
Beat you to that.
No.
Beat you to that, get it?
I am the jealous type. Nobody's touching that man but me. He's mine. And no, sorry.
I feel the exact same way. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I feel the exact same way. And I don't like whatever they do is what they do. However, I can say, and maybe you've been oblivious to this, which is interesting, and maybe you too, because we have been approached many times.
Yes.
By people. I have this big, boisterous personality. And for some reason, people think that might be an invitation to join us. And I'm like, no, that is not an invitation to join us. That is a hell no. And so, yeah, so, we would love in the comments for you to let us know, what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think? Have you been in an experience where you've been cheated on or you've cheated? You don't need to write that in the comments, for heaven's sake. However, you could say my friend Anna Smith, has been in that situation, or however you feel comfortable writing about it, because it's a topic that for the ages has been talked about, and we needed to talk about it too.
Yeah.
What have we not brought to this discussion that is maybe a little risky, a little raw, a little that, we want our audience to say, oh my gosh, yes. Oh, thank you for saying that. I really relate to you. Oh my gosh, hadn't thought of that. Thank you for teaching me that.
I think what Sandeep said was really important, because majority of women who have been cheated on will automatically say, what's wrong with me? Or what have I done? And especially in Asian, in Iranian communities, in East Indian communities, women really take it on. I don't know other communities as well, I'm sure, but that's just who I've heard this from. The immediate thing is, I feel so ashamed. And my first reaction is, he did the deed. Why are you feeling so ashamed? So this feeling of shame has to go.
Yes.
It happens to either couple. And I have never heard a man who's been in a situation say, I feel ashamed. I honestly have never heard that from a friend that's male. It's always women. Have you? But either way, I don't think anybody should be ashamed of anything. It's either fixable, you guys are putting the effort and you'll fix it, or it really isn't fixable and there is a better partner, and this is the beginning, end of a bad thing and a beginning of a new relationship. Either way, you are going to know it in your heart and you can work it out. Either way, when a door closes, another one opens. So, it's nobody should be sitting there going, what have I done wrong, and beat themselves
That's
up
a very
for it.
valid point.
And there is being willing to look at how did I contribute? Okay, we can look at our part and not shame ourselves for our part. We can look at our part because we do play a role. There's two parts to everything. And being able to look at the part that you might have played with courage and without shame, with who is the woman that I've become in the process.
Yeah. I struggle with something, and that is that before the decision to cheat is made, why not recognize that you're not happy and have a conversation with your partner stating such, like, I'm not happy and something needs to change. And then if it doesn't change, like, end the relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why cheat over ending the relationship first? And that's happened. That's what happens. Yeah. So it's a lack of courage, right?
And you know what, guys? I believe a lot of guys who do cheat really can't fault what they have. It's not a matter of things that even is wrong. It's like wanting that spice that is different. You know, it's nothing wrong with steak. Steak is wonderful, but maybe once in a while they want a shitty hot dog, you know? And I think that's why the discussion doesn't come on.
But maybe they have... Whoops.
That's our timer.
That's our timer. Maybe they have... what is wrong with my brain today? Like mid-sentence.
What if
just
we did an episode where we all dressed different?
Had different hair.
I could be like a nurse.
I could be like an air hostess.
Yes.
I love that. How can I help you
what
today?
Would you do? You like to surprise.
Yeah, I do. I do. Who knows?
And you?
I'll be a teacher.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, I could see the glasses and the stick. You know, you'd have to be an older teacher where we have the stick, the whacker stick, and some chalk.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited. Can I borrow a something tool to look like a nurse?
Absolutely.
Because it is fun to
role play.
And bring the spice in. It's scary, okay? It's scary. And a lot of women will think, well, what's wrong with me? Aren't I enough? Why do I have to do that? That's stupid. That's sexist. That's whatever. And you know what? If you think that, that's okay. And what would it take to open your mind to exploring a little bit? And it's not about him, ladies. Oh my gosh, if there's one thing I learned at the Tony Robbins relationship event with the Platinum Partners, it was a very extraordinary event. Tony Robbins and his wife, Sage, have been through more than most couples in the public eye, and 25 years together, 22 of those years trying to make a baby, okay? And I've learned so much through watching their relationship and some of the stuff they've been very, very courageous in sharing so vulnerably with the intention to serve. And one of the things that I forget what I was going to say. Isn't that horrible?
It's spreading.
Isn't that horrible? I'm like, I learned this beautiful lesson and I forget what it is.
I think what it was is that he said everything is okay. Everything okay in relationship. And he talked about the 80-year-olds.
It'll come to her.
That will try different role playing. They will try everything once in their 80s and they've kept their relationship.
Oh, so you
fun.
will do that open thing when you're 80?
Yeah, well, that's what he was talking about. He was talking about that.
I actually had a really interesting observation on vacation once where we were looking just, you're sitting in places and you're just people watching. It's one of my favorite activities. And I would sit and look at couples and the thought occurred to me, I wonder if that's a first, like an original marriage, or is that a second marriage? And some of the telltale signs, you could tell, oh, she's a second wife, he's a second husband. There was just a different chemistry.
How can you tell? You're guessing.
Totally guessing.
Okay.
But it made me think, like, what if in this moment right now, I just started acting like a second wife? So good. It's a shift because of when you think of a first wife, I was thinking of first wife, husband spontaneous and says, hey, kids are, they're at home, we're empty nesters. Let's fly to Vegas for the weekend. First wife might be like, oh no, I've got this to do. I've got that to do. Got to clean the house. Had to mop the floors. Second wife's like, baby, I'm packing a suitcase and the lingerie as we go. How soon can we fly out of here? And I think that's part of the excitement, of that new relationship is just that spontaneity. So it occurred to me that, you know what, I'm gonna think more like a second wife kind of action and really get into that mindset of being playful and spontaneous and just a little different than I've been over the past, 25, 26 years. Like, why not? Yes. So it's interesting. And second husbands, they're going to be more attentive. They're going to be they're going to be more caressing. And darling, what can I get you? What cocktail would you like? And let me massage your back. You look so tight. So we forget to do that in our day-to-day sometimes, and so we can just put on that little bit of that second, third, fourth marriage vibe and see where it leads us.
Role play, people. Role play.
That is going to be the opening of our podcast. I just have to say. And I promise you that when I remember what I was going to say, we're going to add that on to the end.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we should say goodbye. That's what I'm thinking. Well, this was our podcast today.
A juicy one.
Juicy one.
Oh, so good.
Wow.
Thank you for being with us. Let us know, what are you doing while you're listening? Are you listening to this in 2 parts? Is it too long or is it just right?
And with
We
that,
appreciate you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And see you next time. The views shared on this podcast reflect our personal experiences and opinions. This content is not a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert for any medical, legal, or mental health concern. If this conversation spoke to you, please follow the Ladies in Power podcast and leave us a review. Your voice helps more people find this sisterhood and these conversations. Together we rise. And remember, your voice matters here.